we're going to hear today is, in a way, my personal experience in terms of entrepreneurship. That's why I call it Entrepreneur's Journey. First Steps is actually my 20 years experience that I try to summarize in a book that soon will be printed out. And it's in a way a journey that all of us, when we decide to become entrepreneurs, have to follow. It's not you probably some things that you are going to find out will be new, some others won't be new, but they are filtered through my personal experience, and I'm sure it could be valuable for many of you when and if you decide to start this journey. Okay, and then you ask me, well, but I don't want to start my own business, or not yet. And I say, okay, even if you don't want to start your own business, or if you don't want to start it yet, it's very valuable experience, because what you are going to find out and what we are going to discuss this afternoon is how can you build some entrepreneurial mindset, some life skills, some entrepreneurship skills that in a way will help you to have success in life, regardless the profession, regardless the career or the business or the organizations that you are going to run or to found. So what we are going to discuss is, as I said, things related to entrepreneurship, and it's mainly my personal experience. I would love to have a discussion. I don't want to only have a lecture. I want to be as interactive as possible. So please, we are here in a very safe environment. We don't judge each other. We are allowed to make mistakes. We can say our opinion, and even if the others don't agree with it, they will accept it. So I encourage all of you to be as talkative as possible during these 1.5 to 2 hours. And as a matter of fact, I will start with a question, but not the one that you see on the screen. That's the second question. The first question is, what do you want to learn out of it? Why did you come here? What are your expectations? So you either want to talk and tell me a couple of words about that, or you want to write in chat. I would be glad to hear your thoughts regarding the objectives that you have in mind when you attended this webinar. So please, who is the bravest one? Who wants to tell me? You can, if you want to talk, it's okay. We can open the microphone, open the video. Let's see each other. I'd love to see some nice faces from Moldova, Bulgaria, Bosnia, Romania, and so on. So, and if not, if you are too shy, just write down in the chat. Please, I want to spend the first couple of minutes to know each other better and to hear your thoughts about your objectives. Who wants to start? Nobody wants to start? Maybe Diana from Moldova? Oh, you know, the funny thing about giving online classes is, if you don't keep your camera open, it feels like talking to the walls. You never know if it's really somebody behind the camera or not. So I don't want to find myself talking to the walls for 2 hours from now on. Okay, you cannot connect the microphone. I understand. I want to learn how to be an entrepreneur since I want to start my own business. Okay, I'm a young entrepreneur, she said, Diana from Moldova. Okay, great. Who else? Come on, other opinions. You may talk if you can, or if not, write down in chat. So Diana wants to find out how to become an entrepreneur. Okay, we will cover that. What else? What other subjects of interest do you have regarding the entrepreneurship? I just want to be as relevant for you as possible. Okay, maybe if you don't dare to write down anything now, you will at least try to clarify me this question. What do you think entrepreneurship is? Because you know, in 20 years and so since I've been entrepreneur, I've heard many definitions of this entrepreneurship, and there are narrow definitions and broad definitions. So I just want to clarify what this entrepreneurship is all about. What is the definition of what is it being an entrepreneur? What's the entrepreneurship about? Okay, so maybe you can help me with that again, opening your microphone and talk, or writing in the chat. Okay, so somebody, Emina says that he started her own business and he's facing obstacles and she wants to learn what else is coming on my way and how to mitigate some of the risks if possible. Okay, and Emma's writing that entrepreneurship is creating a process of creating value through your business. Okay, very good answer about that. Any other opinions? What do you think entrepreneurship is more than that? Creating value is a very important part of starting a venture. We won't necessarily refer to an entrepreneur as a business owner. It could be a business owner, but it's also it could also be an NGO owner, so a social entrepreneur. It could also be a very let's say proactive employee that takes initiatives and come up with solutions to ensure the profitability of the business, or to help their bosses, or to help the company, generally speaking. Yeah, so Diana says that entrepreneurship is bringing solutions to current problems. Okay, it's absolutely true. So what you have to understand is entrepreneurship, from my perspective, is not necessarily a title. Being an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you own a business, only that you own a business. It doesn't mean that you have an NGO. It doesn't mean that you, wherever you are running a big company. It's a state of mind. It's a mindset. It's a state of spirit. Being an entrepreneur is understanding that around us there are a lot of problems, but instead of seeing problems and complaining about problems and waiting for the others to solve problems, you try to turn the problems into opportunities, and to think how can you solve the problems, and how can you serve as many people as possible, and how can you offer the best solutions through your initiative. And the question is, what if I'm, for example, a simple guy from a village in Bosnia or in Bulgaria or in Romania, and I don't like, for example, the garbage around my village. I don't like that streets are dirty and the air is polluted and so on and so forth. And instead of blaming the mayor, or blaming the citizens, or blaming the government, or blaming the European Union, or blaming Trump, whoever we can blame, instead of doing that, I decide to take initiative and to organize a campaign to clean the garbage in the village, and to breathe the air that I want to breathe. What about that? Am I less entrepreneur than the one that has a big company? My answer is that no, because as I said, being an entrepreneur is trying to solve out problems that concern people, to bring value, as one of your mates said, and trying to focus better, and to of course, as an entrepreneur, you can take some risks, but it's very important that you assume, you just own the actions that you have. Okay, so I just want to have this in mind. Entrepreneurship is a broader concept than having a business or having an NGO. It's a state of mind. It's a mentality. It's a mindset, as we say. Okay, and now let's think what could be the most, I would say, important and common motivations when you become entrepreneur. Why, for example, you decide that you want to start your own business? Why do you decide that you want to start your own NGO? Why do you want to start your whatever project it is? Okay, why do you want to do that? What are your motivations? And the most common that we probably think of are, okay, I want to earn more money. I'm not satisfied with the salary I get from my job, or I don't want to somebody to give me a certain amount of money. I want to earn as much money as possible, and I want to earn it through my work. This is one motivation, and it's a very valid one, and it's an important driver. It's one of the let's say 2 important drivers in becoming an entrepreneur, especially if you are a for-profit entrepreneur, if you own a company. But let's think of other motivations. Another one could be, okay, I don't want to work for 8 hours a day every day. I want to work only 2 days a week. And when I work 12 hours, and the rest of the week to, I don't know, take care of my kids, or go on holiday, or wherever, spend my time with them, or spend the time with my beloved, and so on and so forth. So I want more flexibility with my time. And this is another, let's say, sound motivation, and a valid one, because we all want to, not all of us value the money the most. Some of us value freedom, and some of us value, I don't know, love, and some of us value friendship. So depending on these values, we might choose, we might find various reasons to become entrepreneurs. Some others are very highly motivated for having impact in the world. What if my motivation is, for example, to help the poor people to earn more money, or to get a job, or to feed the hungry people from Africa or from other parts of the world? What if my motivation is to help people communicate better? What if my motivation is taking people to the moon, as Elon Musk does now? So it doesn't matter what the motivation is. All the motivations behind becoming an entrepreneur is correct. The only thing is, you have to be aware that having a dream, or having a motivation and not taking action, it will only stay as a nice dream. You know, in order to fulfill your dreams, you have to act. So just try to think, because it's very important when you are going to become entrepreneurs, or if you are an entrepreneur, it's very important to know your motivations, because if you know your motivations, then you will understand your actions, and you will take deliberate actions to fulfill your dreams. Because, you know, from my point of view, the business or an NGO or whatever project or entrepreneurial initiative you have, this is just a way, it's a mean to fulfill some of your needs, or some of your motivations behind your needs. Okay, so you have to know those motivations and you have to understand them well. If you don't understand them well, then sometimes you won't take the correct actions in your business, and then you will become disappointed if the results won't be, if you don't take the correct actions, the results won't be the best. And then you'll become disappointed, and then you will come back to your initial state as being, I don't know, an employee, or even whatever, quitting this journey of becoming an entrepreneur. So just try to understand what are your motivations, and try to think more than the two basic motivations, which are having more money and having more spare time, because these are very valid ones, but you should maybe think of the higher motivations, like making the world better in your way. And we'll discuss about that a little bit more later. How do we connect the business with our vision about life and about the world, and with our role that we perceive that we have in the world? Okay, and now the third question is, what are the threats? We've discussed a little bit about that. What are the threats? What are the characteristics of an entrepreneur? Of course, we have to have vision, so we have to be a visionary. We have to be good leaders. We have to be an example. We have to assume risks. We have to take risks. So we have to be brave. We have to be very focused. We have to be perseverant. We have to have a great desire to help. It doesn't matter in which fields we are acting. We have to be sure that our actions bring value in the world. And I just want to have this in mind. It's very counterintuitive, but the way you will get success is helping as many people as possible, and not only your clients, but also the ones that you perceive as competition. You have to try to turn your mindset into from a scarcity mindset, where if we are many competitors in the market, each of us will lose, into a growth mindset, which says, okay, I'm not alone in the market. I have competitors, but instead of thinking of them like enemies, you should think of them like partners that help you grow that market. And instead of comparing and fighting with them, you should try to improve yourself and to compare with you 1 day ago, 2 days ago, a week ago, a year ago. So try to compare with you in a previous moment. Okay. And this is maybe counterintuitive. As I said, most of us are used to be very competitive, and we are used to fight to get our rights and so on and so forth. And as I said, it's okay, but I think you would discover, and trust me, this is from my own experience. I've been there 10, 15 years ago. When I started my first business, the first 5-7 years of my business, I was very competitive, and I didn't help I wanted to take everything for me. I didn't want to leave anything for competition. I wanted to be always the number one in the market. And I always compared myself with other companies. And little by little, I discovered that I have to invest a lot of time and energy in order to educate the market, especially in the market where I was activating at the time, consulting, business consulting, and then in education also. If I was by myself and I was trying to increase the market, I had to put a lot of effort by myself. So when I accepted that some others, even if they come and offer the same products or the same services as myself, they help me to grow the market. and they are in a way, they are like a mirror to me, because I can look at them and I see what I'm doing wrong and how can I improve myself. And when I started to see that, things changed, and my business grew up even more than it used to grow by that moment. Okay, so I just want to understand, this is a very important trait of an entrepreneur, to have rather growth mindset than, as I said, a scarcity mindset. You know, scarcity mindset, it comes from scarcity. You think that the resources are limited. Actually, the resources are not quite limited. They are limited to your thoughts, and they are limited to your way of thinking. Yeah, they are. We have unlimited resources to earn money in this world. Unlimited ways and unlimited resources to earn money in this world, if we do the right actions. And I will tell you a little bit later one secret that I discovered. How can you get everything in life in a very ethical manner without hurting anybody, and without being corrupt, and it's a very strong path. It's a very strong way that I experienced myself, and I helped a lot of people to experience around me. But I will talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so now the question is, if you don't have until now, if you don't have what you want in your life, who's the only one responsible for that? Is it give me a name of your mayor. We call it here, our mayor is in Constanța, is called Decebal Făgădău. Okay, is it Decebal responsible for that? Is it Klaus Iohannis, our president? Is it the European Union? Is it Donald Trump? Is it your father that's born you in a not very developed country, or not in a not very developed city? Is it your I don't know, your country mates? Who's responsible for you not having the life that you want? And the only valid answer I find is that we are fully responsible of what we are, what we have, what we become, and everything we succeed in. Because you can blame everybody for what you don't have. You can say that you live in a poor country, in a poor city, your family is poor and they didn't offer you too much, but as long as you have, as long as you are healthy, as long as you have a good context to get good education, as long as you can work and you want to work, and as long as you want to pay the price to get from where you are to where you want to be, there's no other excuse, okay? But if you don't do that, if you don't take full responsibility of your education, of your environment, of your actions, you'll never get anything, regardless. I mean, even if you, for example, win a lottery one day, you know, if you don't have the right mindset, you lose everything very quickly. So what's important when you want to be an entrepreneur is not only to have this willing to start a business, but little by little to earn an entrepreneur mindset. And I insist that you should build your entrepreneurial mindset by reading proper books, taking proper classes, meeting proper mentors, talking to people that have already succeeded in your business field, and little by little trying to change your mindset. Because one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start a business and they come from an employee position. So let's say that I'm an employee, I'm not satisfied with my work, I'm not satisfied with my earnings, I want to quit my job and I start my own business. It's okay, and of course the motivations are very nice. I want to have more money, I want to have more spare time, and so on and so forth. But the idea is that when you do that, and you act with the employee's mindset, instead of changing your mindset toward an entrepreneurial mindset, you will fail, and you'll be very disappointed that, for example, you won't get money every month like you used to have when you're an employee. And instead of working 8 hours a day, you will find out working 10 or 15 or I don't know hours a day in your company. So you've just replaced a bad boss with an even worse boss that is yourself, and that doesn't pay you very well and on a regular basis, and that doesn't give you enough time to get rest, you know. But this is just because you act in the entrepreneurship, you act in the business world with an employee mindset, okay? And what we are going to do now, I'm not sure if you read this book or not, or if you read this concept of Rich Dad Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a famous American writer, personal development and investor. But he wrote this book. I mean, he wrote many books in this series of books called Poor Dad, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he has a very interesting concept that allows us to understand how we progress with our mentality from an employee to an investor, and it's called the money quadrant. And I'd love to just tell me if you ever saw that, if you know this concept. Just write me in the chat so that I understand if it's relevant or not. Because if it's not, if you already saw it and if you know it very well, then I don't insist too much on it. Just please, just give me some words in the chat. Tell me if you saw that or not. Okay, so you haven't. Great. So write down I will write down the name of the author so that you know it. This is Robert Kiyosaki, and the series of book is Rich Dad. Okay, so you just look for the Rich Dad series, and you'll find there 4 or 5 books about building entrepreneurial mindset. And I think it's very important for each of you to, as I said, to read that before, or if you just started your business and one of your colleagues said, okay, I started my business and I already faced problems. And let me tell you something, you'll always face problems when you're an entrepreneur. It's not important, the problems are not as important. What's very important is to know how to address problems and how to relate to problems, you know. Because it doesn't matter what level you reach in your business, there will always be problems. Problems never stop, and it's okay. When the problems will stop when you won't be part of this world anymore. Okay, so as long as you are on Earth and you live this life, you'll always have problems. It doesn't matter that you are poor or rich. It doesn't matter if you are married or not, or if you are young or old, you'll always have problems. Okay, so what's very important is to have a good attitude when these problems will come to you, and especially in this period when we face an endless crisis. You know, we just go from crisis to crisis, and we have to get used to that. You know, if we don't get used to that, we'll get nuts. You know, we'll lose our minds, because when you think that things will go better, you see that there is another problem or another challenge at the horizon. If you don't have the proper attitude, you risk to lose your mind. That's why there are so many depressed people right now in the world, because they don't understand how to cope with these problems. Okay, so let's come back to Kiyosaki. So what you see here, it's a quadrant, and you have 4 parts of this quadrant. The first one, this one here, is the employee quarter. And this is the self-employed quarter, or the freelancing quarter. This is the business owner quarter, and this is the investor. Okay, Kiyosaki lives in America, so he probably didn't meet the 5th part of this money quadrant, which in Europe we call the social assistee. You know, the one that are not employed, nor not business owners, not freelancers, not investors, that are, for example, waiting for social security from the state. In the US, they don't have this concept. So Kiyosaki was not able to put it on this quadrant, but we have it in Europe. So I will add the 5th part of this in my lecture. So I'll try to explain that on 3, let's say, directions, 3 pillars. What is the relationship of each of these quadrants with the money? What is the relationship of each of these roles with the time? And what is the relationship with other people? So we have the persons that are not employed, don't have any kind of you know, they are not employed, they are not self-employed, not business owner, not investors. They are waiting for social security for the government or public authorities. What do you think the word that defines them best is? The word that defines them best is they are kind of hopeless. Okay, they think that there's no hope for them. They think that they cannot do anything in their life, and they need to be helped. They are not willing to assume their current position in their life and to get out of it. They think that somebody else has to come and solve their problems. So in relationship with money, they are absolutely fine with any amount of money, as long as somebody else gives it to them. So and of time, of course, they have plenty of time, but they don't have time. What I mean by that is they don't do anything, but when you ask them to do something, they say they don't have time. You know, and I don't know how is it in your countries, but in Romania, we, especially in the villages, but not only, when you walk around streets in villages in the country, we see a lot of people that stay in the bar and they drink, you know, alcohol, and they smoke cigarettes. And when you say, look, I have a job for you and you can earn this money, you know, out of it. If you do that for like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or a week, or a month, and they say, well, yeah, but you know, I don't really have time, and you know, and their thinking is, well, if the government pays me 200 euros per month, why should I work and get 500 or 400 from, but doing hard work instead, you know? So this is their type of thinking. Okay, so this is the first. The second role, I mean, the first that Kiyosaki put here is the employee. So what's an employee? It's a very respectable position when you say, okay, I need to work, I need to bring my contribution in the world, and I have to sell, in a way, my skills and my knowledge to an employer, to a company, and get some money in exchange. So what's the relationship with money? Can I decide by myself how much money do I get? Not quite, because the company has to pay you in accordance with, I don't know, with the value that you bring and with some, you know, standards that they have. But it's even worse than that, because for example, let's say that your value is €1,000 or €2,000, okay, and this is what the company gives you as a salary. But at the end of the month, instead of getting €2,000, you'll only get 1,000. And you know what? Why? Because without even knowing and without being able to do anything, the government, through the tax system, will take half of it out. Okay, so you have a value, but you only get money for half of that value if you are an employee. You cannot control this process. Okay, the only way you can increase the amount of money that you get is by developing yourself, increasing your skills, increasing your knowledge, increasing your talents, adding up, updating your skills, you know, and in this way you can offer more to your employer and expect more money, or expect to go up in the hierarchy, to grow up in the company and getting more money in exchange. But otherwise you cannot control that. Can you control the time? Not quite, because you are under a standard contract, 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. It doesn't matter how it is, but you cannot decide how much time you want to spend working. You have a fixed salary, you have a fixed time, and the only way that you can increase, as I said, the income is by increasing your value. And this is important in any of these four quarters. You know, increasing your value is very important in any of these quarters. Okay, now what's the best word that describe this this quarter of the employee? The best word is, what's the biggest wish of an employee? They want to be secured, security. They want to get their salary on the 15th of month or 30th of month. It doesn't matter, but they want to have a fixed date to be paid with a salary. So security is the word that defines this quarter. But the problem is, nobody can offer any security on a long term anymore. In these times, you cannot expect somebody to offer you any security on a long term perspective, because they cannot. It's just like that. Okay, just think that the world is changing very fast. There are a lot of disruptive changes in the world, and some companies that were very successful in the past, they are maybe getting bankrupt right now, or some fields that were very profitable in the past, they are not anymore, and so on and so forth. So nobody can do that. Again, the only way that you can get your security is by being able to adapt yourself, is by being able to be very resilient, is by being able to learn new things and unlearn old things. Okay, and this is the good mentality for an employee. If you decide to stay an employee and to have a career, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, and it's nobody will judge you for that. The only thing is, when you are an employee, try to have this kind of mindset, which you will discover to be the mindset associated with an entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, let's so after this first quadrant comes the second one, which is the self-employed. Okay, the self-employed or the freelancer is, okay, I decide I don't want to be limited in terms of money. I want to earn as much money as I can, and I want to work. I want to be very flexible with my time. I just want to work 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 3 days a week, whatever. Okay, so I just say, okay, I will self-employ myself. I will create my own employment, my own company, and I become a freelancer, and it's fine. the only thing is, again, I'm limited to because I don't have any leverage. I don't have any way that I can increase my I cannot increase the time I work, and I cannot increase the money that I get, but my own person. I have some physical constraints. I cannot work more than, let's say, I don't know, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. And I cannot get more than a certain amount of money per hour unless I invest in myself and unless I become better and better every day. So the only thing I can increase the money I get is, again, by becoming better and better and better and better. But in terms of time, I'm very limited to myself. I don't have any other leverage. I cannot earn more time than 12 hours or 16 hours a day. And I cannot do that on a long term, because just imagine yourself working for a whole year, 16 hours a day. It's impossible. At a certain point, I'll get sick and I have to take a long rest. And when I take a long rest, nobody will pay my salary because I'm self-employed. Okay. So there's no big advantage of that. And in terms of relationship with people, both roles, employee or self-employed, when they look at the other people around them, it doesn't matter if they are colleagues at work, if they are employees and you have colleagues at work, or if you are a notary, or if you are a doctor, or if you are a lawyer, and you have some colleagues in the same field of activity, you will look at them as competitors. You will have this mindset: they will take my money. If I help my colleague to grow, and if he becomes better than me, then he will earn more than me and he will take my place. If I don't work and serve my clients in terms of freelancer and I go in holiday, somebody else, another notary, another lawyer, another doctor will take it from me and I don't have it anymore. So in these two roles, as an employee, as a self-employed, when you relate to people, you see them as a competitor. And this is a bad thing from the perspective that I showed you previously, okay? And you always try to become better and better. This is a good thing. You invest in yourself, but you have a wrong approach to other people because you think they are your competition, because you are limited in terms of time and money that you can earn, okay? Well, let's say that sometimes after another period of time, you decide that you need somebody to help you. And you say, okay, I want somebody to help me with a part of my job. No, let's say I'm an accountant and I can offer services to 15 companies a month, and I cannot do more than that because I'm already working 12 hours a day and 7 days a week. So I need somebody to help me if I want to grow up. And I will take somebody to help me, another person that knows how to do accounting. And I employ that person. And initially that person will only have 2 or 3 companies. I work 12 companies, he works 2 or 3. So he's like, if I'm 100%, he's only at 20% or 30% of my capacity and of my way to generate income. But if I add 100% to 30%, we come up to 130%, which is more than 100%, right? So instead of thinking of that person, okay, he's an employee, he's taking some of my money out of the company because I have to pay his salary, you should say, well, with the help of this employee, I increase 30% or 40% my income. And then I take another 30, 40%. And little by little, you can increase your salary by adding your income, as a company, by adding new people that will leverage your effort, okay? And it's very important when you become a business owner to see these people as a leverage. to see them as your partners, to see them as your as somebody that help you with a business. And guess what? When you look at them as your, let's say, partners, and you think, okay, how can I help these people instead of being of 30% of my capacity to get to 100%, or even be better than me? So you invest in them, in their development. Okay, you invest in you give them courses, training, you help them to increase their mentality, and little by little you will have yourself with 100% and two others with 100% near you. So you have 300% of your capacity and your income. Okay, so you see the change in mindset from I have competitors around me with I have partners around me. I have to keep them down, not to help them too much because they will take my place. I have to help them to grow up as much as possible, even be better than me, because I leverage the income with them. It's a great shift in our mentality. And in terms of relationship with money, when you are a business owner, you can decide how much money you want to pay to the state, because you say, okay, I pay first my profit. Okay, I take, I don't know, 10%, 20%. This is my profit. Then I have to pay my salaries, the employees. Then I have to pay the suppliers. And of course, at the end, I decide I want to pay this because I have 10% profit. I pay the tax is only of this 10%. So the way of making the calculations is a little bit different. You can control the destination of your money, the money in your company, of course. Okay. When you are an employee, you cannot control. As I showed you, the state gets 50% out of your income, and you don't even know it. Okay. When you are a business owner, you decide what to pay first. In terms of relationship with time, if you have people that help you, and if they know, if you have good procedures, and if you create good systems, if everybody knows what to do in any moment in time, you can allow yourself going in holiday, because the business won't die. The activity will go on without you for a period of time. So you have more freedom with your time too. And now the highest level on this scale is being an investor. An investor is not at all involved in running a business. He has a mentality that okay, I have an amount of money and I want to help as many businesses as possible to grow, but I don't want to run those businesses. I just want to be a consultant for the managers of those businesses, or for the business owners, to help them increase the value of the business, because my reward will be, I will take a percentage of the profit of that business. Okay. And this is being an investor. And the investors, if the entrepreneurs, if the business owners like to create systems, the investors like to create value for business. So they will create new businesses, and they help more and more people to earn as much money as possible, because they will get a part of their profits in exchange. And you can be a direct investor, like, for example, you help with your money some companies, and you know the people in the companies, and you help them, you work with them, and you help the companies to grow. Or you can be an indirect investor, like a portfolio investor. You just buy some stocks from the market, from the stock exchange market, and you make this you get dividends at the end of the year, and that's all. Okay. So what I want you to, in relationship with the time, an investor has a lot of freedom, because he doesn't have to work anymore. He's working, but he's not working. He's working, of course, because he has to think of ways. He has to think of what type of business should I should I help? Where should I put my money? But she maybe, or he's probably working like, I don't know, 5 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week as an employee, and maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 hours a week as a business owner or manager. Yeah. So being an investor is the highest mindset that you can build. But in order to get there, you should understand this process and decide if you want to take it step by step, which is for most of the people, or to just make some shortcuts and getting faster from one quarter to another. Now, I personally bounce between a business owner and an investor. In the last like 10 years, I've been doing that. I'm not 100% investor yet. If I was 100% investor, now I would have delivered this class not from my nice house in Constanza, but from Bahamas with a cold beer near me. But it's not very far that moment when I'll probably be 100% investor, and I won't be involved in running my business anymore, because I know what to do to get there, you know. And when I'll be an investor, I'll do what I want with my time. If I want to teach, it's okay, I can teach, and I really love to keep this part. But I won't be forced to work for money then, because the money will just come because I know how to invest them and how to help others to get money. And now is the time to introduce. Was I clear until now? Just tell me if it made sense what I taught you until now. Do you want to change anything? Do you want to insist on things more than I did? Just let me know. Just give me some feedback, please. Is it okay? Again, I'm just I feel like talking to the walls. It's very frustrating, you know, when you give this kind of classes. But okay, I assume that this would be recorded, and some other women, business women, or entrepreneurs to be will see that, and maybe they will learn something out of that. Okay, if everything is okay, now is the time for me to explain you, before going to the second part of this class, to explain you a little bit one secret that I discovered in the last 10 years, and that I applied in all the aspects of my life, and it gave me a lot of excellent results in an ethical manner, without hurting anybody and without stealing or you know, and or cheating anybody, you know. There is another famous book that I read, and after that I wanted to meet that teacher in person, the writer of the book in person. It's called and I also suggest you to write it, to read it when you have time. It's called The Diamond Cutter, and is written by Michael Roach. And it's just one second, because it has the title associated. Okay, so it's written by this Geshe Michael Roach. What's a Geshe? It's a very, let's say, spiritual person from in the Buddhism philosophy. But I don't speak about Buddhism in this lesson, or I won't refer to Buddhism, but I will refer to some very ancient teachings that this guy, who by the way is an American, and who was the first American, the first Western person that earned this title of Geshe, of high, teacher in Tibet. So he spent there like around 20 years, and he learned with the great lamas and other teachers and things like that. And he passed this this exam of being a Geshe. And after that, his teacher said, okay, now you know everything from me. You should go and prove to the world that everything I taught you, it works. And that everything I taught you is not only working for the yogis just that stay and meditate in the temples in Tibet, but it works for everybody. And he said, okay, and how can I do that? And his teacher said, okay, you go in the world now and you get a job and you apply. Yes, I already put them here. I already put it in the chat. Diamond Cutter, Geshe Michael Roach, and the other one was Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad. So you have it there in the chat, okay? So yeah, okay, I wrote it. Okay, so he said, okay, go in the world, get a job, and prove to the world that these teachings work. And he went and he got a job in the diamond business. So he just hired himself to a very, startup diamond company. And I don't know if you know, but the diamond field, working, having a business in the diamond industry, it's something very tough because the competition is very fierce, and you really need a lot of work to be successful in that industry. So he got hired there. He hired himself to a, let's say, a startup in that, a very small company. And in less than 5 years, applying these teachings that I'm going to tell you now, he built up that company to a multi-billion company in only 5 years. So he made it a reference company in the industry, and then of course he made the owners of the company very rich. He's also a very rich person, but he's not acting like a very rich person. Actually, he's investing all his money to help people around the world not to be hungry, to have access to very good and high teachings, to earn the proper mindset. So he has a lot of money, but he doesn't want the money. He just do something else with the money. His motivation are not the money. So what this guy described in this book it's a very simple process in which with which we can get anything we want in life. Anything we want in life. And I'm going to tell you. So it's a 4-step process. 4 steps. They are called like that. 4 steps. So the first step, when you want to get anything you want in life, the first step is you have to define very, very well what you want. You might want to have I don't know, an income, let's say 10,000, 50,000, a million per year. It's okay. Just define it very well and think of that. Okay, I want to have 1 million euro income every year. Or maybe you want to have a very nice house. And you might say, okay, I want to have the nicest house, and you have to describe it very well, and you have to just give a lot of details on a piece of paper or in your mind. Or if you want to have a nicest boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, or you want to be very healthy, it doesn't matter what you want to have. Okay, this is the first step. First one is define exactly what you want as detailed as possible. The second step is find another person that has exactly the same needs as your need. So if you want to have money, just go and find somebody that want to have money like you. If you want to grow your business, go and find a person that want to grow his business. If you want to have a nice husband, go and find somebody that also wants to have a nice husband. If you want to have a good health, find somebody that wants to have a good health. It doesn't matter. So just find, the second step is find a person that wants exactly the same thing as you want. The third is on a weekly basis, once a week, for 1 hour, help that person to get what he or she wants. So if you want to grow a business, find the person that wants to grow his business, and for 1 hour a week, meet him and help him to grow his business with your experience, your expertise, your thoughts. Just go and try to help him to grow his business. And the fourth step, this is a very important step, and people fail to this, is you should go home and enjoy that. I mean, feel grateful and feel happy that you help him and that you of what you did. Okay, so you help that person for 1 hour a week to grow his business. Go home, and that night or the day after, and then the next night and the next day after, until the next time you meet him, just be happy and enjoy your thinking of helping the other person. We call that coffee meditation. So be happy and be grateful that you have that person, and do that for a certain period of time. Okay, don't do that only 1 week. You probably have to do that depending on the level of your goals. You have to do that for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, but you will for sure get to experience results. And let me tell you, and because you don't have to believe me, you just try to do that. And if you have success, you remind me, and you say you'll probably thank me in your prayers. If you don't, you'll think that I'm a fraud and I just try to cheat you. Okay, just don't believe a word I say. I didn't believe what he said initially. I just applied, and it worked. And it worked when I built my house. I'm not a technical person. I'm rather a person that probably cuts his finger 3 times before cutting the potato. And I don't know anything about construction. I only wanted to have a house, and I had a piece of land, and I had money, but I didn't think at that time that I have enough money to finish the house of my dreams. So I decided, okay, I want this. I just put it on a piece of paper. I thought of it for some days. And then I found somebody that very poor persons that wanted to have their houses built. And I joined the campaign as a volunteer. And we built 10 houses in 1 week with the help of 150 persons in that campaign. And I helped there for this campaign of building houses for poor people. And I was very happy, and I thought of that, and I did this coffee meditation, and just like that, in 6 months, everything was aligned, and I was able to build this house. And this is only one example, but I can give you many, many examples in any kind of objectives that you have. I have a lot of clients that I taught them to do that, and they did it. And there are famous examples in countries like, for example, Iceland. In Iceland, they have a national program now based on this kind of routines. So just try to do that, and it's a very simple way, and you can experience that in your business life. It's for business. I mean, just trust me. There was somebody at the beginning saying that you overcome some challenges. As I said, you'll have challenges at any level. Just try to apply these 4 steps. If you want to grow your business, find somebody that wants to grow the business, help him to grow his business for 1 hour a week. Just forget about your business and help his business to grow, and enjoy that and make this coffee meditation, and you will see what are the results. Because one secret that I've learned in my entrepreneurial life is that the fastest way to have success is to help as many people as possible to have success. I know, again, this is counterintuitive, but just try to do that. Okay, just you might write down what I said. The fastest way to get success in anything you want, the fastest way to get success is to help as many people as possible around you to get their success. Okay, so if you do that, I'm sure you'll be very successful business women. Okay, so now just to close this part, I will give you the definition of a perfect enterprise based on what I thought, because we know that we want to have a perfect enterprise. And a perfect enterprise, it doesn't matter if it's a company or an NGO or another type of organization, is a commercial organization which is sustainable and which it works by itself. A commercial organization means that you trade something, you make an exchange, you offer services and you get money. You offer services and you get some, I don't know, if you are an NGO, you don't get a profit, but you will fix a problem, you'll fix a need in the market. Okay, this what I mean by commercial organization. Any organization, it doesn't matter if it's a company or an NGO or any other type of organization, it has to serve some problems in the community. And when you solve a problem, you get something in exchange, not necessarily money. So you make a trade, and if you make a trade, you are a commercial organization. So you should be a commercial organization because you solve problems in the market. You have to be sustainable. What I mean by that is, if you are a company, you should be profitable. You should have a profit. If you are not a company, if you are an NGO, you should have enough money that you can get for your services to do it on long-term base, because nobody wants to invest his own money in the company endlessly. Okay, you cannot keep on investing money in your company without being repaid. Even if you are an NGO and you have a very altruistic way of seeing the life, you have to think of getting something in exchange and being able to sustain the company. And what I mean by it works by itself is you shouldn't have to be present there 100% of the time, because if you need to be there 100% of the time, it means that you don't have free time. And you remember, one of the motivations of an entrepreneur is to have control of his own time. So what you have to do in order to make it work by itself is to build systems, to build processes, to build procedures that can go by itself when you are not there. You have to automate as many things as possible. Okay, so this is the definition of a perfect enterprise, and it's very important when you build your enterprise to have in mind that you have to act in these three directions. The first direction: how do I serve the market better? How do I bring value to the community? How do I offer the best services? How do I position myself in order to help as many people as possible? This is commercial organization. Then how do I make my enterprise sustainable? How do I earn more money than I invest? How do I cover the costs? How do I get enough money to support my organization for a long time? And the third is, how do I find the best people, train them, create the procedures, create the systems, and if I need to replace some people, I don't have to start it all over again to train them and to teach them by myself, so that everything goes very smoothly. And when I am away, the business doesn't collapse. Okay, so this is what you have to have in mind when you build an enterprise. And now the second part, the last part of this is, how do we start? Okay, how did I start when I started my entrepreneurship journey? What were the first steps? And when you, before doing that, I just want you to have 2 minutes of reflection and to think of two things. The first is, what's your vision about the world? Okay, just try to take a piece of paper and for 2 minutes try to think what's your biggest dream about this world. How do you see the world? What's the vision, your vision about the world? It doesn't matter in which direction. Some of you might think of a world as a world with no hunger, with a clean environment, with very educated people. Some others may see the world, a perfect world, a very technology-wise world, like everything is, the robots do everything and we don't do anything. I don't know. You have to have a vision, your own vision about the perfect world that you want to live in. Okay, this is the way to start. Okay, just think of that for 2 minutes, and then for another 2 minutes, think of your role. What is your role? How do you want? What's your contribution? Your personal contribution to have that perfect world. Okay, not only that you see your perfect world and you imagine it, but what are you ready to do in order to have that perfect world around you? Okay, and the first part, when you think of the world, of a perfect world, is called personal vision. What's your personal vision about the world? The second is called personal mission. Okay, how do I see myself acting in order to get my perfect world? Because again, if you just see, if you don't dream of a perfect world and you don't do anything about it, it's just a nice dream and you never get it. Okay, because you remember what we said, the only person responsible for not having what I dream, what I wish, is myself. Okay, the only person that is responsible for not having what I want to have is myself. So before showing you a process, a 3 steps process that I did it myself, but initially without, I just, I did it just by intuition, and then I look back and I make it as a process, and now I can teach it and share it with you intentionally. But initially I just did it by intuition. I didn't know when I did that, but I just did it. Okay, but now you don't have to repeat my own mistakes, and you don't have to repeat other people's mistakes. You just have to if you find out something, you should just maybe follow some steps that others followed already. Okay, so just take those 2 minutes. If you put your vision on a piece of paper, and if you put your mission on a piece of paper, then you are ready to find out about that. So when we start a venture, it doesn't matter if it's a career, or it doesn't matter if it's a company, or it doesn't matter if it's an NGO, we should ask ourselves 3 questions. And I put those questions into 3 circles. Okay, and we'll see later why. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what do I like doing? What are my personal passions and interests? What are things that I can do every day and every night, regardless the hour, regardless the weather outside? If I wake up at midnight and I have to do that, I love doing that. If I'm feeling bad, I love to do that, and it will make me happy. So what are your passions and interests? This is the first thing that you have to discover. And why is this important? This is important because when you'll build a career, when you'll build a company, you'll always face challenges and problems. It won't be a linear process. It will be a process like a waves, on the sea. You'll be up and down, up and down. And if you are down, and if you don't relate to your passions, if you don't do what you like, if you don't find very good motivations in your interest or in your passions, then you will quit. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's a career or it doesn't matter if it's a business, you will tend to quit, because we are all psychological beings. Yeah, we are psychological beings, and we are attracted by the things that we like, and we tend to reject things that we don't like. So just try to initially make a list with your personal passions and interests. Then ask the second questions. What do I know doing? What do I know doing? What are my personal skills and my personal talents? What are the talents that I was born with? What are the skills and knowledge that I learned until now in my life? And make this kind of inventory, because this is your, let's say, circle of power. Because when you do something, if you know how to do it, you'll do it faster, and you are very comfortable. You are not afraid of doing it, because you already know how to do that. It's part of you. It's part of yourself. Okay. So when you discover what are your passions and what are your personal skills and talents, try to see if there are any overlaps. Yeah. Try to overlap those two circles and see if you find something in common. Maybe you have passions which are also your skills and talents, or maybe not, but it doesn't matter. Try to see that. The third question you should ask is, okay, now I know my passions and interests, I know my skills and talents. How can I serve the world? How can I make the world, how can I help people? How can I solve problems in the community based on my passions and my skills and talents? On the other words, what would be people ready to reward? What would be markets ready to reward? This is the question, because when you solve problems, when you take away pains, remove pains from people, it doesn't matter what kind of pain, people are ready to pay for it. Okay, and most painful issue you solve, the most money people are ready to pay for you. So see if you can, based on your talents and passions and your skills, to solve problems, and try to identify what could be your contribution in solving these problems or these pains or these frustrations, concerns in the community. And when if you manage to overlap all these three circles, and there is a common point, a common area of all these three, then you say that you have a sweet spot. You have the ideal business or ideal career. Okay. Now, in many cases, you won't be able to overlap all these three circles and to get this sweet spot from the first part, from the first step. What I mean is that sometimes you can find that your personal passions and interests are very rewarding, and you can get money out of it, but you don't know how to do that. Or you might know that you have talents and you have passion, but there's no money into it yet. Okay. So if you were to only keep two of these, what do you think? Which of these three circles do you think is the most easy to replace? Well, I hope you said that the easiest circle to replace is this, what do I know doing, the personal skills and talents. Why? Because if you have passion and if you are interested in that and you have passion, so you like doing that, and if you find persons to pay you for that, for your passions, but you don't know how to do it very well yet, it's very easy. You have at least three ways of solving this problem. The first is you learn a new skill, you get yourself a new talent, you train yourself, and you become better and better in that part, and you can acquire this, so you will get there. The second is, if you don't want to learn, it's not a problem. You hire somebody that already knows that. And the third is, you take that person as a partner, okay, and you create a business or an organization together. So what do I know doing? It's very easy to get. Passion is not easy to get, because if you don't feel it, if you don't have it, and if you are in a career and you don't have passion for it, if you are in a business and you don't have passion for it, then you'll be frustrated, and as I said, you'll quit. If you have passion and you have knowledge, but you don't get money out of it, well, you'll be happy, but bankrupt, okay? And I don't think you want to do that. So just think of this and try to understand that when you think of a business, these are the three questions you should put in order to find the best way to start a business, or the best way to start a career. Now, when we think about the market needs, we have to think that we are not the only ones that solve those needs. There are many of other people that, or organizations that solve those needs. So we have to kind of we have to be different. We have to act differently than those. We have to solve the same needs in different manner. So in other words, we should innovate. And when we think of innovation, we have two types of innovations. We have a cutting edge innovation, which is something that nobody's seen it before, or it's an incremental innovation. It's something that I can do okay. Yeah, I will finish in 10 minutes. It's not a problem, okay? Less than 10 minutes, I'll finish. So when we think of innovation, we should think what kind of innovation we should take. Cutting edge innovation is something very new, absolutely new. Like, for example, the electric cars were until a couple of years ago, or this rocket that Elon Musk builds to take people to the moon. This is a cutting edge innovation. The only problem with this is it costs a lot of money, and it's a great risk not to be accepted by the market from the first initially, okay? So you risk to lose a lot of money and to invest a lot of money and not being accepted and not being able to sell the product. The other way of innovating is incrementally. So you take the product and you think, how can I improve it a little bit better? How can I add new features? How can I bring more benefits to people? And so on and so forth. And I suggest when you look to these opportunities in the market that would reward your passions and your skills, you should think of incremental innovations, okay? And after that, so as a process, yeah, just build a passion inventory here. Make a list with the passions. Make a list with your personal skills and talents, and make a list with what we call opportunities in the market. Okay, and after that, you have to develop what we call a business model canvas. The business model canvas is a matrix like that, which brings you a picture, a very nice picture of your startup. Probably you've heard of that. If you heard of that, it's okay. I won't insist too much. If you haven't heard of that, it will take me another webinar like that to explain it to you. But it's a very good way to start a business with a business model canvas rather than with a business plan, because the business plan is not very flexible. A business plan is okay when you have a well-established company, but the business model canvas is more flexible and you can adapt. You can pivot a lot the ideas in your startup, and in the same time, it gives you a very clear image of what you have to do and what you have to think of when you start your own company. So the business model canvas is my favorite tool to work with the startups. If you know it, it's okay. If you don't know it, and if you want to find more about it, we might schedule maybe another webinar and we can talk extensively about this extraordinary tool. Okay. So I leave you with this quote from Henry David Thoreau, which is one of my favorite writers. He wrote that in Walden. There's another great book that I invite you to read. Henry David Thoreau said, if you confidently move in the direction of your dreams, you will experience unusual success in ordinary times. Okay, so I hope that what you found out, what I shared with you during these 2 hours, the last 2 hours, it will help you to build your entrepreneurial mindset, to have at least 2 or 3 processes to follow when you think of your the direction of your business, and well, to be able to look behind after 2, 3, 4 years and to see your extraordinary growth. I'm pretty sure that women are excellent business owners. I have a lot of clients that are women. My business consulting companies has only women employees, and a lot of the person that used to be my employees now they have their own business because I help them to do that. So I encourage you to be brave if you didn't start your own business, or to stay in the process and to keep on growing if you already started your business. Never stop until you reach your dreams. But remember, if you want to reach your dreams, you have to be willing to pay the price. And paying the price, it means investing in yourself, paying money for your education, for your training, paying money to get access to the best mentors or to the best coaches, paying money to the best instruments, and paying effort and time, not only money. Okay, but you don't have to think that you can get everything for free. You don't have anything for free in life. You have to be ready and able to not ready and willing to pay the price. And if you pay the price and you make the correct investment, and the best investment is in yourself, then you will have a lot higher return. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you this afternoon. I'm waiting for your questions, if any. If not, I thank you very much for being present here, and I really love to stay in touch with you. I would stop sharing now, and I would put here my my personal email. So if you have any questions related to the entrepreneurship, if you want to discuss, if you need any advice to grow your business, if you need any, I don't know, consulting or assistance, just don't hesitate to ask me. Okay. Once again, it was a pleasure to be here, and good luck with everything you are doing. Thank you very much. Waiting for your questions, if any.
Thank you very much for giving an introduction to entrepreneurship and for giving the helpful advices. I think it was very interesting for everyone. And if there are some questions, I think regarding the time, at the moment there are no questions. Everyone can contact you directly.
Yes, of course, of course.
Perfect.
Okay.
Have a nice evening, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.